Have you ever heard of anyone who has air property problems? You know, air property problems are very, very common, especially in certain communities. I'm attorney Vernita Williams. I want to talk to you about how to prevent very serious air property problems that just leave you feeling victimized. You know, there are many families who own property and somebody passed away, the mom passed away, the dad, the grandparents, and they left air property. This air property is property that has been passed down through the generations. Nobody ever did probate to put the property in the name of living heirs. So in all likelihood, that property is still in the name of the original deceased owner. So now, over the years, the property might become abandoned looking, or maybe the family can't get things done with it, because remember, the name on the deed is the deceased person. So any family member who wishes to get a loan to do repairs, or pull a permit to do roofing work, or go to FEMA after a hurricane to get things done, they can't get it done because their names are not on the property. So that poses a special problem. But here is something else that poses an even bigger problems. Sometimes real estate investors begin to look around for what they would consider to be a good deal. And they sometimes look at air property. You know, maybe the air property is now up for a tax deed sale because the family didn't pay the taxes, or maybe the real estate developer knows that this is an area where a lot of development is going to happen in the next couple of years, and they know that it would be a really good deal to get this property. Or maybe the property just looks abandoned, like nobody is taking care of it properly. So these investors, they come around and they're looking around, they look up the deed, they research, they look for the heirs, and they begin to find the heirs, and they start going to the heirs one by one, one by one. Do you want to sell? Who are your other relatives? Oh, you want to sell? You got 3 brothers. Okay, where's the brother? Oh, one brother is deceased. Okay, that deceased brother, where's his children? And they start looking for family members. And here is the dangerous part. Sometimes they will find a family member who says, yeah, I want that $1,000. Oh, you can give me $1,000 right now? Oh, okay. And they say, okay, for $1,000, just sign right here. Now, a family member who is an heir, who signs and takes the $1,000, is typically signing over his ownership interests. So what you now have is some real estate investor who is now a co-owner of this property right along with the other heirs. That's a big deal, because you know what? That real estate investor who gave a family member $1,000 in exchange for them signing a document that a lot of times the family member didn't understand, they now co-own. So guess what they can do? They can now force the sale of the property. So other relatives may not even be interested in selling. But if some third party investor has bought the ownership interest of one of the heirs, that person is in position to now force the sale of the property, because guess what? That person may have paid $1,000 for an ownership interest that's worth $30,000. He wants his $30,000 out of it. So if he forces a sale and that property is sold, all the owners, including the real estate investor, will get their part. And so he just put out $1,000 to get $30,000. Does that sound fair? And if the person who accepted the $1,000 had known they could have gotten that amount, they probably wouldn't have done that. So if you have real estate investors swarming around, trying to victimize you and your family, your first impulse might be to shut it down. If they come and try to talk to you, you just tell them you don't want to hear it. Get away from you. Don't do that. Take their information, get their name, get their address. Okay, number 1, I got 5 things I want you to do. Get their name, get their address, because you want to be in contact with them. Get their phone number. Number two, call a family meeting and see if other people have been contacted. Okay? You need to know that, because you need to know whether there's somebody among your ranks who's likely to accept $1,000 and give away $30,000. Number three, find out if anybody in your family signed anything. You need to know that, because if they have signed anything with a third party real estate investor, that investor is now positioned to open what is called a partition action and make the family sale. You need to know that. Now, there are some states like Florida. Florida recently implemented a law that says a family member cannot sell to a third party unless that family member has given the other family members the opportunity to buy his part. So number three, find out if anybody signed anything with any of these people that are swarming around trying to get your heir property. Number four, you need to find out the value of that property, okay? So that you're not accepting $1,000, $5,000 when what you're giving away is really worth $30,000. You need to know that, okay? There are some states that have implemented laws that's designed to make real estate investors pay the correct amount. But in some instances, the real estate investors are counting on you not knowing the law. They're counting on you not knowing the value. They're counting on you not knowing that development is coming in 5 years and this property is going to be worth 5 times the amount that it's worth now. Okay, the fifth thing is develop a family strategy as to what you want to do with the property, or at least let your family members know the value of the property so that they're not jumping up doing things like taking $1,000 and just signing a paper and giving it to somebody. So one of the ways that you can help your family not be victimized, when people start coming around saying, I'm an investor, they're trying to find out all the family members, they're trying to find the name of the deceased person on the deed, and then they're trying to find out, oh, how many children do they have? Oh, two out of 5 of their children are deceased. Oh, well, what's the names of the children of the deceased children? They're part owners. You really, really need to make sure you call your family together immediately and find out what's going on. Find out if anybody has signed paperwork with these third parties, and find out the law in your state to see what you can do to protect yourself. Because even if you want to sell your heir property, you need to sell it for the right amount. That's called keeping your generational wealth in your family. Don't give something that's worth $30,000 away to somebody for $1,000. So if you'd like to discuss more about this heir property situation, how you can protect yourself, I'm attorney Vernita Williams. You can call me at 786-831-9483. That's 786-831-9483.